Well, Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the coming election?
The Townsend people are against the President Roosevelt policies. And unless he changes those policies, definitely, the Townsend people would be solidly against him in 1936.
Well, Dr. Townsend, what is the Townsend? Well, Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the coming election?
Unless the Roosevelt policies are radically changed, we cannot support him, and the Townsend people will come out definitely against him in 1936. Solidly, you want me?
Well, Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the next presidential election?
Unless the president radically changes his policies, our entire group will be solidly against him in 1936.
Well, Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the next presidential election?
We are against the President Roosevelt policies. And unless the president radically alters those policies, the Townsend people will be...
Well, Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the coming election?
We are opposed to the President Roosevelt's policies.
Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the coming election?
We are opposed to the President Roosevelt's policies.
Well, Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the next presidential election? Well, Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the next presidential election?
We are opposed to the President Roosevelt policies, and unless those policies are radically changed, the Townsend people will be solidly against him in 1936.
Dr. Townsend, are we going to... Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the coming... That's wrong. Dr. Townsend, are we going to support Roosevelt in the next presidential election?
Please be seated.
Dr. Townsend, we are a group of prospective Townsenites. And we wonder if you won't tell us, please, the real purpose of this plan.
Briefly, the plan is to retire all the elderly people above 60 in this country who can qualify with a buying power of $200 per month in order that the aggregate of this buying...
Won't you tell us, please, the real prospective Townsenites? Won't you tell us, please, the purpose of this plan of yours?
The purpose is to compel the government of the United States to retire all citizens above the age of 60 who can qualify with a spending ability of $200 per month. The purpose being
He makes that statement to you?
Yes.
Oh, that's fine. What banker is it? Yeah, I know all that very well.
Would you please keep your seat?
Dr. Townsend, we are a group of prospective Townsondites. Won't you tell us, please, just what the real purpose of your plan is?
Briefly, the plan is to have the federal government retire all people above the age of 60 who can qualify with a spending ability of $200 a month, in order that the aggregate of this spending will put the younger element of society to work and keep them at work. And we propose to raise the means of doing this through a universal transactions tax of 2% imposed upon all sales of whatsoever character. Already we have almost 4 million of people enrolled in our clubs, and these numbers are growing very rapidly all the time.
Dr. Townsend, when do you expect the passage of this legislation?
When you, good lady, and all other citizens demand it. Already we have some 30 millions of people who have expressed their approval of this plan over their signatures. We expect to organize in every congressional district and to demand this legislation in the next session of Congress. I'll say we can present the largest petition.
Dr. Townsend, when do you expect the passage?
Hold it.
Dr. Townsend, when do you expect the passage of this legislation?
When you, dear lady, and all other good citizens demand it. Already we have some 30 millions of signatures on the petition to Congress for the passage of this law, and before Congress convenes again, we hope to demonstrate the power of the petitioning ability of the people of the United States.
So, prospective Townsondites, could you tell us something about your plan, the purpose of your plan?
The purpose of the plan is to compel the government of the United States to retire all citizens above the age of 60 who can qualify with a buying power of $200 per month, in order that the aggregate of this buying power will enable all of the younger element of society to find work at good pay. Already we have enrolled in our clubs close to 4 millions of people who are determined to see the passage of this legislation.
Dr. Townsend, when do you expect the passage? Dr. Townsend, when do you expect the passage of this legislation?
Whenever you, dear lady, and all other good citizens demand it. Already we have more than 30 millions of people who have signed a petition to the Congress, the largest petition ever prepared for that purpose.
Dr. Townsend, when do you expect the passage of this legislation?
Whenever you, my dear lady, and other good citizens demand it. Already we have more than 30 millions of people who have signed a petition to Congress for the passage of this law, the largest petition ever before prepared for presentation to the Congress. We propose to raise the money for this pension system by a 2% universal transactions tax levied upon all sales of whatsoever nature throughout the United States.